The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Did you hear that?
Okay, today on Salmon Says, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm doing my podcast as I drive to work. Those of you that don't know, I have a 65-mile commute each way to work every day. And I thought, hey, why not use some of that time to do some podcasting, right? So if you hear some noises and stuff going on in the background with blinkers or, me honking a horn or telling somebody, go, Granny, it's green, something along those lines. No, it's mostly highway where I'm taking. Today we're going to talk about bullying, okay? And bullying is not a good thing. The title of today's podcast is Bullies Suck. And they do. Take it from me. I've been a victim of bullying my entire life. And I'm not whining about it. I'm just telling you what I've been through. And at the end, I will tell you why bullies suck. If you don't think that they do, they do. I remember having a bully in kindergarten. It was either kindergarten or first grade. I can't remember. I think it was kindergarten. I started in one kindergarten, and then we moved, and I went to another kindergarten, and there was a kid there named Bruce, and I don't remember his last name. He's in my school picture. I still have it, and I circled his name because I didn't like it. But his name was Bruce, and he used to bully me. He used to push me around. Of course, I was very gullible, very small. I was just barely 5 years old, and I didn't defend myself or anything. I was just a little weakling and just a little kid. I just wanted to go to school and have fun, make friends, and this guy had some kind of issue going on, and he thought he'd be cool and bully people, even at that early age. I mean, we're 5 years old, 6 years old, and he's bullying me. So that was my first, so I've encountered bullies since at a very, very young age, okay? That was my first time I'd ever been around a bully. Little did I know that I would meet many, many more bullies as I got older. Through junior high, there would be people that would pick on me. For whatever reason, my mom said, they're always jealous of you. And I didn't believe her. But now that I look back, I think Mom was right. I think they were jealous of me. For whatever reason. I was short. I was scrawny. I was very shy. I was a good guy. I was pretty funny. But I was an okay student. Wasn't great. I wasn't horrible in junior high. But whatever reason, I think they were. I think they were jealous of me and decided to pick on me. So one time in 7th grade, there was these two guys. There was one named Dennis and one named Jason, and that's their actual first names. And I remember their last names, but I'm not going to tell you. Anyways, Dennis was a bigger dude. He was bigger than most of the 7th graders. I don't know if he got held back or what his deal was, but he was a very large individual. Well, and I'd always gotten along with him, but for some reason this day he decided to pick on me. And so he kind of pushed me or whatever, and this is before our art class. Well, outside, I went to school in California, so our classes we had to wait outside, literally outside the door, which is outside in the elements, which there was no element. I mean, it wasn't raining or anything, but so we're waiting outside for shop class to start, and they called it shop class, but it's actually art, because a year or two before, kids thought it would be fun to stick their fingers in the saws or hurt themselves during shop class, and so that ruined it for the rest of us. So instead of using power tools and things I could do the rest of my life, I learned how to do art, which actually I've used the rest of my life as well, physically drawing. And I had a cool art teacher, class shop teacher. He was a cool guy. Anyways, so this big guy Dennis pushes me, and I don't push him back. I'm not stupid. I'm like, all right, this guy's gonna eat me. So his friend comes over, and his friend's no bigger than I am, and he's always a loudmouth. And he comes over and pushes me and walks away because they don't expect me to do anything. Well, I'm one of those people that it's just like a match. Once you strike it, and you get it hot enough, it's gonna boil, it's gonna burn, and it takes a lot to get me to that point. But I was at that point, and I decided to push him back. So he's walking away, and I walk over and push him back really hard. And this is in front of the whole class, and nobody likes this guy. So he picks me up, and he carries me over to the trash can outside the door. It's this big plastic trash can, I don't know. And he drops me in it. And I don't know if the trash can broke. I think it did. But like I said, I wasn't very big, so I didn't have a lot of weight forcing it down. And it breaks me, whatever. So the teacher shows up about that time, and he sees what's going on. He grabs him around the neck, grabs me around the neck, one of us in each hand, and walks us up to the office. And probably deep down, now that I look at it, this guy was probably grinning, thinking, hey, nice job, Salmon. This guy's a jerk. But he didn't say that. He kept a straight face, and he walked us up to the office. So I had to spend the rest of the day with this guy. We ate lunch together. We had to sit there and do our work together. Meanwhile, my friend Billy was walking around telling everybody I kicked this guy's butt. Oh, Salmon was beating him up, man, just kicking his butt. So there's this big rumor coming back when I finally get to come back to class later in the day that I beat this guy up, and all I did was push him, and he dropped me in the trash can, and I broke it, or whatever. That was it. But before that, we were in the office, and I had to go into the principal's office. And I've never been in the principal's office before. Like I said, I never got in trouble. till this day. So I go in there and I explain my side of the story, what I just told you, basically. And she says, well, and I have no record, of ever fighting and stuff. And she knows that. She knows who I am. And she goes, well, sometimes it's hard not to fight back, isn't it? And I said, yep. And that's all I had to say. And, of course, he'd been in there and had a file, the size of War and Peace, probably. So he got in probably more trouble than I did. So that was the end of that one. Coming up, I'm going to talk about my high school bullies and how I almost went completely Evander Holyfield on some dude, and I don't even remember it. We'll get back to that. This is Salmon Says. Hey, it's Salmon from the Salmon Says podcast. How would you like to have your very own podcast? Be the envy of your friends. It's really easy. Use Anchor. Here's what you got to do. Get onto Anchor.fm. And you can use their creation tools that allow you to record, edit your podcast, and produce it right from your phone or computer. Pretty cool? It's totally free as well. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Anchor.fm. Check it out and get started today. Welcome back to Salmon Says. Welcome back to Salmon Says. We're talking about bullying and Bullies Suck. I took you through my early stages of bullying as a kindergartner and then bullying in junior high. And there was other times in junior high I got picked on too. One time a guy was kind of picking on me and he goes, how can I hit you when you're so funny? I made him laugh. That was kind of my thing. That was my defense. I didn't have big muscles. I wasn't tall. I wasn't scary looking at all. So my defense was to make them laugh and then they wouldn't want to hit me, and it worked for the most part. One guy goes, I can't hit you. We ended up kind of like becoming friends shortly after that anyways, through other friends. So let's get to high school now. So I went to 1 year high school in California, then we moved to the Midwest. And so I'm just trying to fit in the Midwest. I'm just trying to, it's a completely different world than I'm used to. I'm trying to fit in. Like I said, I'm not a bully. I'm just trying to find my way. And it's a much smaller school than I'm used to. And so there was one guy that just didn't like me. For whatever reason, he just decided he wasn't going to like me. So I had to put up with this guy for 3 years. I had him in a couple different classes. He'd always, Salmon, and he'd try to instigate stuff. He was probably 6 inches taller than I was, probably outweighed me by 50 pounds. But I wasn't really scared of him. I just didn't like him. And so we're in PE class one day, and it was rainy or something, and so we're playing wiffle ball inside. That was what we're doing for PE. Keep in mind, this isn't high school, like 10th grade, something like that. Him and I end up getting put on the same team somehow. So we're playing wiffle ball, and I hit a home run. And he comes by, and he's like, nice hit. He gives me high five. I don't think people did fist bumps then. Anyways, give me a high five or something, or just a nice hit. He goes, that was a good hit. I still don't like you, but that was a good hit. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. Whatever. And nobody liked this guy. None of my friends liked him. Nobody in the school liked this guy. So I don't know if he just did that to get his attention or what the deal was, but he'd always pick on me. So finally, we get up to I think it's senior year. Him and I had weightlifting class together in the morning. It was the first class. It started before most classes started. We would do weightlifting, and then we go to regular classes, and then we come back and had PE, and maybe he was in my PE class too. Well, here's the funny thing about PE. I was really, really fast, okay? I mean, I was probably the fastest guy in the school, and so we'd run the mile, and he'd run with me on the first lap and try to keep up, and then he'd hide behind the long jump pit, and he's like, tell me when you're on your last lap. So I'd tell him, and he'd get up and he'd run behind me, Like the PE teacher was stupid. I didn't see him, or knew that he's no way he'd keep up with me, because he's big and slow, and I was small and fast, and so it never worked. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that in there because it was funny to me. So we're in weightlifting class, and finally I had enough of this guy, and I'm just like, look, I said his name, and I was like, hey, if you can lift more weights than I can, you're more of a man than I am. Something along that line I said to him. Keep in mind, I was at the time I was 5'9", 130, 135, okay? I was small and short and scrawny. He was 6'2", 185, something like that, okay? So he wasn't a big guy, but 185, he was heavier than I was. And so we maxed out on bench press. If you don't know what maxing out on bench press is, basically you put on say 130 pounds, lift it once, and then jump up to 140 pounds, lift it once, then jump up to 150 pounds, lift it once, that kind of thing. And so you just max out until you just can't lift any more weight. So you jump up by 5-10 pounds every time. So that's what we were doing. So finally I got to 180 pounds. Now keep in mind, this guy I'd already lifted my weight. I weighed 135. I'm way past that. I'm at 180. This guy weighed 185. He couldn't even lift 180. I bench pressed 180. He didn't. So I'm like, hey, you're not more of a man than me because I lifted almost your entire weight. So I don't know if he changed his attitude after that, but I think he got a little bit more respect from me. He said, hey, this kid really can defend himself. Another time, I'll come back to that guy in a moment. Guy number one. Guy number two, we used to play, me and my buddies, we used to play football in the gym during our lunch hour, which we weren't supposed to, but we got in with the custodian for whatever reason. He really liked us, so he'd unlock the gym, and he'd let us play in there. And he was usually like 5 or 6, 7 of us guys. We made a little bit of a noise, but we never caused any problems, never made a mess, so he was cool with it. Sometimes he'd even jump in and play too. True story. So we're in there playing, we're having a good time. Then one time we're doing basketball. And I'm not a good basketball player, I'll tell you that right now. But we're playing, and I don't remember what happened. I don't even remember this event happening. But my 2 friends who were there, who ended up literally restraining me, told me the exact same story about this. So here's the story according to them. Okay? Somehow we're playing basketball against this guy, bully number 2, and this guy was just a short, fat little butterball. And he thought he was a bully. I don't know why. He was no taller than I was, but he outweighed me by like 80 pounds, if that. And he was just a butterball. He couldn't have played defense if his life saved on it for basketball, And I'm not taking it serious, but I at least like to play a game, something somewhat organized. And my buddies were all the same way. We're just playing and having a good time, getting some exercise. And this guy's in there. This guy's idea of playing defense was just standing there underneath the hoop, and then when you go for a shot, just push you in the ribs. That's how we played defense. Like I said, it takes a lot to get me to the point where I'm ready to beat somebody up. Apparently that day I was ready to beat somebody up. This is the maddest I've ever been in my life. And in fact, I was so mad, I've heard it third person, that I don't even remember this happening. To this day, I still don't remember this happening. I remember getting mad at the guy and not liking the guy, and him doing that. But I don't remember fighting back. And so I'm just going to use my buddy's initials, T and J, 2 different guys, okay? So T and J, and they both told me the same story, and they both had this exact same story of how this happened. So this bully guy was playing basketball. Finally, I go for a shot, and he goes to push me or something. And I come down, and I call him a fat something that I'm not going to repeat here right now, I guess. And I get right in his face. Well, T's got one arm, J's got the other arm, and neither one of them have ever seen me this mad. I mean, they'd only known me a couple years because I hadn't lived there very long. But they'd never, ever seen me this mad. And then it took 2 of them literally to restrain me. And I was 130 pounds of pure fury at that exact moment. I was ready to go Evander Holyfield on this guy. Again, I don't remember any of this, but they both told me the exact same story. So nothing happened because they restrained me. But I was gonna beat the crud out of this guy, apparently. I had enough of him playing his crappy defense. So I don't remember having too many more run-ins with that guy.
That wraps up part 1 of Bullies Suck. Make sure and tune into the Salmon Says podcast for part 2. Make sure you are subscribing and tell me your comments. I'd love to hear from you.